What is up, Insaners, and welcome to our Double Game Week 21 guide, which will help you set your team for the first Double Game Week of the season. We'll talk about the confirmed Double Game Week fixtures, teams and players to target, chip strategies, and some thoughts on our team, transfers, and the best captaincy options for this week. So, guys, make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel as well if you like what you see today and are new around here. Now, just a few hours back, we got information on the first Double Game Week of the season. According to the confirmation by the Premier League, Brentford, Everton and West Ham have a double game week in Game Week 21. Now what does that mean? All these three teams that you see on the screen will play twice this week. This also means that Leicester has a game this week, plus Southampton also play Brentford. Now both these teams had their games cancelled because of a COVID outbreak at Newcastle and Norwich, but now they do have a fixture this week. So guys, first up, Brentford play Villa and Southampton. Now Villa have improved defensively and this could be a tough game for the Brentford attack. Southampton is a bit easier, I think. They have conceded quite a few goals in the past few weeks and it should be a good game. Next, Everton faces Brighton and Leicester. Both tricky fixtures, but Leicester again aren't one of the top teams, at least in terms of the defense. Yes, they did manage a clean sheet against Liverpool in the last game, but they did concede 12 goals in 5 games before that. I think Brighton could be a tough one, but I think Everton can still do well against both teams. Now the third team is probably the most interesting one in terms of fantasy potential at least. West Ham have looked a bit hot and cold in the past few games, but the games are against Palace, who have done okay defensively, but they still concede a lot of chances from set pieces, and that could help West Ham. Norwich is another game and looks like a great game to target. Of course, we can see more postponements, cancellations at the last moment, but this is what we have right now. Overall, Newcastle are the only team not playing this week. Rest all are involved in at least one game. Now guys, let's talk about a few players to target from these double game week teams. First we have Brentford. Nothing much to target here. Brentford are okay in defense, so if you're using your free hit this week or you want to go budget, then Fernandes in goal as a player keeper and Pinnock are both options. Both are in the mid 4 million price range and they could give you some value. Now Brentford might not keep a lot of clean sheets, but with Raya out, Fernandes should be a nailed option, plus there could be some safe potential here. In case you are secured in goal, then Pinnock could be the way out. Again, he's not somebody with a huge goal threat, but he has returned against the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool this season. Guys, one thing to note is that if you don't want both players long term, then it doesn't make sense to get them. In that case, you can move to Ivan Toney, especially if you have a non-playing forward, or maybe someone like a Lacazette, Vardy, or any other name that you don't want long term. Toney is good value. He has not set the world on fire with his performances, but I think he's on penalties. He's Brentford's main attacker and their number 9. So in case if you want to go a bit different, he's definitely one option. The fixtures after the double aren't that easy. Brentford face Liverpool in 22, Wolves and Man City after. Now in case if you plan to play the free hit in Game Week 21, then getting him for only a week and then probably moving him out for Wolves or Man City doesn't make sense to me. But in case you can't go higher in terms of price for a forward, then he's probably a decent pick, maybe not otherwise. The second team is Everton, and they do have a tricky week against Brighton and Leicester. Now Everton's defensive numbers haven't looked great. They've only kept 3 clean sheets all season and 1 in the last 11 games. So defensively, I'm not sure whether I would want someone. Maybe Keane is a slightly decent mid-price option, but I would rather get a defender from the likes of Tottenham or even West Ham United, who probably have better fixtures. In terms of defense, it's a no for me. The attack tells a different story, but they're two quite decent options in midfield and forwards. If you're looking to downgrade the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, or maybe someone like a Gallagher, or maybe just downgrade a premium option to make upgrades elsewhere, then you can go with Demarai Gray, who looks nailed in the Everton lineup. He was out because of COVID, but he seems to be back now. He along with Doucouré are cheap options and they can benefit from the return of DCL in the team. Now all this sounds really good, but there's only one slight issue. We don't know how much Dominic Calvert-Lewin will play, how fit he is, what's he gonna be like. There are a lot of doubts right now, and for that reason, DCL becomes quite a risky pick. Don't get me wrong, he can still be a great option. I'd probably wait out this week and see him personally and then decide to go for him, but for now, there are just too many unknowns. He's still a decent differential option, it's just that I personally won't go there. Now coming to the third team, and West Ham are the standout team for this double game week. Their attack has been quite good with the likes of Bowen and Mikel Antonio getting maximum attention. Now I don't think so there are any more good long-term picks apart from these two in terms of their attack. Bowen has been playing really well, especially in that creative role. He plays wide and he's generally benefited from Antonio playing more central. Guys, Antonio has also improved. He has looked a lot better in the last couple of games, and both, according to me, should be your priority. West Ham have really good long-term fixtures and they have been playing like a top team this season. In terms of priority, it really depends on you. I think Bowen can outscore Antonio, definitely in terms of minutes. Not much difference between both in terms of goal threat, but I'd probably just say Bowen, and I feel he's also a good captaincy option this week. In terms of defense, guys, West Ham hasn't been that good in defense. They're really missing Cresswell in that left back spot. Right now we have Johnson playing there, who in all fairness has done quite okay, but he's no way nailed there. The other option is Soufal, who's playing on the right and probably looks like a lot safer in terms of stats. Both have a lot of energy, they're full of running and defend decently as well. I won't be going for any of their centre backs like Dawson, Diop or any other centre back that plays there. There's just better value available elsewhere. If you want a super cheap option, maybe a filler who can give you a double game week player in game week 21 as well, then go with Johnson. Otherwise, Soufal is looking like the more long-term move on paper. So guys, these are some of the players that you should try getting in your team for this week. Who are you getting from this list? Are you looking for any other differentials? Do let me know in the comments below. Now let's quickly also look at the chip strategy at the moment. I personally don't think so wildcard in 21 is making a lot of sense right now. You might not want players from Brentford and Everton long term, and it looks a bit of a waste to use the chip only for West Ham players who can be brought in through regular transfers. Plus, getting in a bunch of players without any information on the double game week 22 before game week 21 deadline doesn't seem very smart. A free hit also doesn't make any sense as there are only 3 double game week teams in 21. 22 looks a lot better for the free hit as well. Bench boost is also something that you can play in game week 22 if you have a good overall score of double game week players. You can use it later as well, and I'm confident that there will be more double game weeks later on in the season. In terms of triple captaincy, you can play it on Antonio or Bowen this week, but it's a bit risky with all the postponements and the whole COVID scenario. Plus, there is that FA Cup game as well in between, but there's always a chance that any player can get injured, and that's not ideal when you are playing your triple captainship. I'm personally not using any chips this week. There are a few options for game week 22, but we'll decide once we have the confirmed list of double game week fixtures. Now we'll do a quick review of our game week 20 score, team selection for game week 21, and the best captaincy options now with the double game week announcement. So game week 20 was a pretty solid game week and everything went according to plan apart from the captaincy this week. We managed to almost half our rank and are at 29k for the season. Guys, one of those weeks where big at the back didn't work with no returns for Alonso, Royal and Trent, who was the captain for this week. It was a huge risk and it didn't pay off. The highest scorer in defense was Cancelo, who got 6 points with a clean sheet. Coming to midfield and a surprising blank from Jota, we got a bit lucky with Salah scoring 0 points and not really hurting from not having him this week. Foden scored the only goal in the game for Man City, getting a massive 11 points. Son also scored decent, he scored 6 points, but the main star was Bowen getting 3 assists and giving us a huge 14-point haul. In attack, both Ronaldo and Antonio returned, giving us 17 points together, and the attack really gave us a huge boost this week. Guys, overall pretty happy with how things turned out. The team looks quite decent for the coming week too, but with a double game week announcement expected soon, maybe even 22, I think things can change pretty quickly. We're holding off moves at the moment, and we might get more double game week news closer to the deadline, but we'll discuss that in the transfer strategy. So how was your game week 20? Do let me know in the comments below. Now coming to our team for game week 21, we're currently playing a 4-4-2 with Ramsdale in goal against Man City. Now it's not going to be easy for Arsenal, but it could be okay from a save points potential. With City's attacking threat, he would have to make saves, and those translate to FPL points, so I'm okay with that to be honest. Among defenders, we have 4 defenders at the moment. Trent is up against Chelsea, who look like a different team at the moment. Trent is a really good option to have on your team this week, guys. We know how attacking he is. His attacking stats are top for all possible metrics, and he's definitely the best attacking defender to own right now. I won't be surprised if he gets something against Chelsea this week. Our next defender is Emerson Royal from Tottenham. Now he's definitely improving each game, but I still feel he's not up there with the likes of Reguilon in terms of attacking threat. Having said that, guys, he's still better than the likes of Dyer, who doesn't have any significant or attacking goal threat. In terms of the fixture this week, guys, I'm not 100% sure about the clean sheet, as Watford have looked good in attack, but yeah, Royal can very well get an attacking return. Let's hope our last week's punt works this time, guys. Next, we have Alonso. He did okay last week against Brighton. Now, in attack, he's looked a lot better recently, but he still can't defend, guys. Chelsea cannot keep a clean sheet at the moment, and I'm not sure keeping him in the team anymore makes any sense. James is also out, and that's going to further weaken the impact of the Chelsea fullbacks. Now, Alonso is definitely on the chopping block this week, and let's move on to our final defender. Our final defender is Cancelo, who's had a pretty rough week, to be honest, guys. He got robbed and beaten in a house burglary, and even though he has been cleared by Man City to play this week, don't get surprised if he's benched this week. We won't take him out just yet. I think the fixtures are okay, even if City don't have a double game week anytime soon. He's definitely City's best defender to own still. Now this week against Arsenal, it's not going to be easy, but Man City have looked like a really solid team at the back this season. Right now, Alonso definitely looks like the one going out this week, and we'll discuss some options in the transfer plan section. Now coming to our midfield very quickly, we got a bit lucky with no Salah last week, guys. This week it can be a bit different. Now Chelsea don't look very comfortable in defense, but getting him for a week still doesn't make any sense. We do have the Liverpool cover in Jota. Yes, Chelsea are not a tough defense to break at the moment, but it could still be a tight game. We know that Jota gets a fair few chances, so I'm confident that he should be involved. I think it's a really important game for Klopp as well, and I don't think so he would want to lose out on any opportunity to hurt the Chelsea team further. Coming to our second player in midfield, and that's Foden, guys. He's our only Man City attacker at the moment, and he played quite well last week. I think there is some news floating on Twitter that he might be out because of COVID. Now, if that is an issue, we'll probably transfer him out. If not, we have a strong enough bench to cover him off. If he's fine, I think he starts this game, and he could come good against an informed Arsenal side. Right now, guys, I'm keeping him in my team, but this could change closer to the deadline. Now, guys, we have Son in there as well, who has a really good fixture. He has been playing really well all throughout the season, and he should continue that in the near future. We have seen a few times now that Conte is using Son in a 3-5-2, playing him alongside Kane, and that really shoots his attacking potential through the roof. Now, if you don't want to captain a West Ham attacker, I think he's a good captaincy option as well. Our final midfielder in the 11 is Bowen, who we got last week, guys. He had a wonderful game last time around, getting 3 assists, which included winning a penalty. What I've seen so far is that he struggles to get into the game in a lone striker role, but with Antonio playing central, I think he's the most effective, especially when he's playing closer to Antonio. Now, Palace is okay in defense, not too strong at the moment. That Norwich game, it looks really good from an attacking perspective, guys. I think he's a wonderful pick. If you don't have him in your team, you should definitely try to get him in. Our final midfielder is ESR, who's on the bench right now. Now, there's still question marks about his starting place. He has been coming off the bench and scoring, but this week the game is against Man City, plus I'm thinking this might just be the right time to move him on. Finishing with our forwards, guys, we are playing 2 this week with Ronaldo and Antonio in our team. Now, Ronaldo hopefully should start provided he stays fit during the week. I know both games are close to each other, but I'm quite confident in him starting against Wolves, which is gonna be a tricky game for Man United. He'll definitely play up top for United, and I'm hoping he does well. Our second player is Antonio. We know that he hasn't looked that great for quite a few games, but he did well last week against Watford. He got an assist, and now he has 2 attacking returns in the last 2 games. I'm getting a sense that he's scoring some really good points in the coming weeks, and I think he should be a priority forward in every team at the moment. So guys, this is our playing 11 for this week. Now let's talk about our transfer plans. The first move would be to take out Alonso and then to get a cheaper option. Now we can go for Soufal, who has a double game week this week. I think he should be nailed, but things can get tricky in the long run when Cresswell returns. I know Johnson is cheap, but I can't trust him, to be honest. Maybe it's a price bias, or maybe it's having more confidence in Soufal, who could be nailed even after Cresswell comes in the side. I think I'm going to go for Soufal. Now there's a possibility of a clean sheet, and anything above that, whether it's a clean sheet or an attacking return, any of it, it will be a bonus for my team. My earlier plan was to get Cash, who could have a double in 22, but with West Ham having a double this week, this move makes a lot more sense. Now let's talk about the second option, guys. Now the reason we are going for a defensive transfer is because we want to target a double game week player, Now we can do something similar in terms of our attack as well. We can take out Emil Smith-Rowe and then get in Gray. Everton has a tricky double but has decent games after that. I feel that Gray will benefit from the return of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I think he's a nailed budget enabler and he should be good for the upcoming game weeks. Now with this transfer guys, I would have 4 double game week players, which is quite decent. Now it might be slightly more than the average overall, but it gives me enough cover for the double game week. Just in case, if we get any confirmation on Foden COVID situation guys, then we might take him out instead of Emil Smith-Rowe. So this would be my transfer move for game week 21. What moves are you planning to make for game week 21 guys? Do let me know in the comments below. Great, with the transfer planner done now, let's finish this video with the captaincy. Guys, with Liverpool back in the frame again, average captaincy numbers could favour Salah this week. I think the most serious players might go with one of the West Ham attackers, but I think Salah is still going to be a popular pick. Of course, he's still the best player in the league by a distance. He did score against Chelsea last time around. And guys, Chelsea haven't kept a clean sheet in a long time. In fact, they've only kept a single clean sheet in the last 8 games. I think he's the safest option this week with a decent fixture against the Blues. Now, if you don't have Salah and if you don't want to captain Salah, you can also captain Mikel Antonio, who has a double game week in game week 21. He's also scored 2 returns in the last 2 games. I think overall he looks a lot better. Now both Crystal Palace and Norwich, they have struggled to keep out chances and goals. I think he's a great alternative if you don't have Salah in your team this week. The third option is Heung-min Son guys, who has 6 attacking returns, which includes 4 goals and 2 assists in the last 5 game weeks. Now Watford also have the 3rd worst defense in the league, and I think this game really spells out FPL points for the likes of Son and Kane. I think Son is a great alternative if you don't want to go to Salah or Antonio. Our alternate differential picks include Bowen, who has looked in decent touch in the last few games for West Ham, and he could do well against Crystal Palace and Norwich. I'm sure not a lot of people would captain him, so going with him could be a great differential in itself. The other differential option is Demarai Gray guys. He's expected to start, but it could be tricky. Now Everton should be a lot better with DCL returning, and the double game week could just give them the required boost, but it's definitely very risky. The third option that we have is Harry Kane guys. Now captaining Kane right now is tricky when you have a better option available in Son, but you can take your chances with Kane. I mean, Tottenham have definitely improved under Conte, and Kane is showing signs of improvement as well. He scored 3 goals in the last 3 games, and he looks a lot more involved in the game now. I think he's a good differential if you still have him in your team. So guys, who are you captaining for Game Week 21? Do let me know in the comments below. So that'll be all from my side guys. I really hope you'll find this video helpful in setting up your final teams for Game Week 21. Make sure that you hit the like button guys if you liked our double game week guide along with our team selection thoughts. Please consider subscribing to the channel as well if you want to follow our team throughout the season. So we'll be back now for the deadline stream guys. Do join us if you have any last minute questions or transfer queries. All the best to all FPL managers. Enjoy your week and I'll see you in Sanas next time.